Sulaiman Raheem here. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Let's slay some demons. A short presentation here. Main topic is the Day of the Lord. There's a lot of confusion about it. So we're going to talk about it and explain it in light of the Injil. First, we have a correction to make based on the presentation I put last evening. So those who watched it, if you watched this, you'll see it's a minor correction. It's a little quirk that went on. And we're going to do that. Then we're going to go into the main presentation about the Day of the Lord. Okay, so let's proceed. I have this correct here? Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters. Let me check one more thing real quick. One more thing. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters. The Day of the Lord. Okay. First we're going to do this the minor correction. Chapter 11, talking about the witnesses. Now, was the error last night about, we'll see. Here we're talking about the 10th city fell. And the reason why it was some confusion, because I missed the slide. Slide was missing, and it threw me off. Okay, this is what it's talking about. What happens is when you have this configuration, right? Gog, Magog, and Satan is the 10th one down. Because you have 12 altogether, they're the 10th one down, right? And it says the 10th of the city fell, that means they fell. That means that's when the war takes place and they're kicked out of the Middle East. That's what it was talking about. I missed that piece, so I got a little confusion. That's what it's talking about, see? So here we go, see? They kicked out, they fell. So the 10th of the city fell. So you end up having this, okay? That's what that's talking about, okay? And then the 7,000, that was correct. You added up 7,000, those are the ones that's been wiped out. Because up top you have New Jerusalem. You have New Jerusalem up top, right? See? That's the, if you notice, that's the ark, it's riding on the waters, but it used to be the waters, now it's the new earth, right? And it says, after the flood, because this represents the flood at the bottom down here, the rivers and sea, it's a flood of humanity, not a flood of water. So there's flood, they're the ones that drowned in Europe. It was, if you study Noah, it was the witnesses that was there, that was between the seas and the earth, that kept the flood happening. Once they moved up, the flood came, right? And it says after the flood, right, everybody was destroyed on the earth, and then the waters was receded, right? They was gone. And then it says there was a rainbow placed above the earth, right? There your rainbow is. So those of you paying attention to the rainbow, you see, that's what it's talking about. Rainbow's put there to show it will never happen again, because it never happened before in the past. It's about to happen. So we're done now. We move on. Okay. Now, first it says, I came to be in the hour that being called of Patmos through the word of God, through the witness of Jesus. I came in spirit, retained the Lord's day, and heard behind me voice, great trumpet. This tells you when the Lord's day is. Chapter 1 tells you when the Lord's day is, right? So when you look at that configuration, you know when the Lord's day is. So we're going to go into configuration here. Now, we have 3 prophets. The African nation, all African nations also represents the prophets. There's 3 good prophets and 4 bad ones, right? Okay, the 3 are Elijah, Isa, the one that revealed the angel 2,000 years ago, and Muhammad. Those are the 3, right? Okay, John represents Muhammad. He says in the aisle, there he is right there. That would be Muhammad, because remember the words also represents the Sunni. And the island is something surrounded by water. So that shows you this is the configuration. Now John also represents the sixth trumpet. So we see the fifth trumpet is blown already. So you get the configuration. He's holding back the four winds. Okay? That's the configuration. See? So we know that's the Lord's day. The four winds hasn't blown yet. But the war has already taken place. They've already kicked out Gog, Magog, and the Antichrist or the Tao out of the Middle East. They kicked out already. See? So that's when the day of the Lord takes place. Like I said, once this war happens, that's when all hell breaks loose. That's the day of the Lord. It says, none like it. None like it. Will never ever be. That's what's so now you know when the day of the Lord is. It's a point of time when the winds haven't blown yet, four winds hasn't blown yet, but the war is taking place and the America, false Israel, and Britain has been kicked out of the Middle East. And the sixth trumpet has blown, and he's at this point, the four winds just hasn't blown yet. See? But at this point also, this is where they made their plans to get rid of us. In other words, this is the point where America and they're at war now because they kicked out and they're at war now, right? They're at war with China and India. I mean, you're at war with China, right? And North Korea, and they're all at war with Russia, and they used to be friends of you. So their greatest fear was that a war would break out and we would side with the enemy and fight against them. That's their greatest fear. You see what they did with the Japanese, right? When they got in a war with Japan, and this war with Japan is nothing like this war is about to happen now. When they got in that war with Japan, they took all the Japanese, they was American citizens, they gathered them up, they put them in concentration camps. They do the same to us, that's the plan. They do the same to us, right? Exact same thing to us, right? But they plan on eliminating us. We're not coming out of concentration camp. Their plan is to eradicate us once and for all. You understand? That's their plan. See? And that's when, at that point in time, right? This is where that's when the day of the Lord starts. Okay? Now, and that's when, right, the four winds blow, because when that happens, that's when fraud hits them with the four winds. Slow it down, right? Slow it down. Because they're getting ready to make their move, and fraud with the four winds, right? They surround industries with their tanks, their National Guard or whatever, the military. They're closing in. And that's when fraud is with the four winds. And that's the time that they all come together, right? That's the time that all black folks, now they realize the situation, now black folks come together. See, four winds blow, they all come together. Okay? And it says, every eye will see him. So we know that that's the land they're talking about, Suleiman, because fraud is one of the eyes. So it says, every eye will see him. It says, all his enemies right here that strike themselves, they will see him also. So they're talking primarily about the demons, who was cursing them and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, go look at another verse. The Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trumpet of God. Okay, let's look at that one. Okay. The archangel is also Michael. Michael's archangel, that's Farad, right? So his voice, the voice of him right here would be the cloud, right? That's the mouth under it, cloud, right? And the trumpet of God, there's a trumpet up there. That's the fifth trumpet. He's the first one to sound, right? And I'm going to say something before I go any further. See right there, the Orient, you see Michael right there. No one's, in all 30 years I've been talking, no one's ever asked me about that one. And I guess maybe they don't pay attention. But that's Japan. That's part of Orient, right? That's Japan there, right? Okay. So why is he positioned there? Because if you understand what Elijah Muhammad taught, you're paying attention, he says that's where the wheel was made. In that region off the coast of Japan, that's where the wheel was made, manufactured, right? Or made, however it came about, right? And he says that once it was finished, all the scientists, they took science from all over the world, they killed all the scientists except the Japanese scientists. He says the Japanese scientists are the ones that are running the wheel, right? They're the ones driving the wheel or whatever you want to call it, right? That's what he said. Elijah Muhammad said, Farah called them his brothers, right? See? So that's why. Because that represents the will. He's with the will. He's on the will. That's a hint there. Okay? So, because it said, that's what it said. The will, that's where the will was made. He said there'd be Japanese pilots. That's my job. Yeah. People say, oh, it's black folks. No, that's not what he said. He said Japanese pilots are piloting the wheel. Okay. So that's why I say that. So here it says, and Lord himself will descend from heaven. He's inside in heaven, but with a shout and the voice of, so that's where he goes. That's the voice of the archangel Michael right there. That's where he goes. So with trumpet of God, the fifth trumpet sounds at that time, right? There it is. See? The Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout. Okay. And said, the dead in Christ will rise first. This angel language, see, it rise. He didn't make them alive, they rose first. Right? It's angel language because we see they come before everybody else. So it says the dead in Christ, because they're part of the dead, they will rise first. So that's the angel configuration. And it says, for this we say to you, the word of the Lord, that you are alive and remain until the incoming of the Lord will not precede those who fall asleep. What it says is these are alive. These are the Shia. They're alive. See? But it says they will not go up before the dead in Christ are the elect. It says you won't go before them. So that's what happened, because they go after us. See? It says, and I said to you, you who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord, right? See, this won't happen until the coming of the Lord. That means that when war takes place, you will remain until the coming of the Lord, will not precede those who have fallen asleep. Okay? So that means they're already gone. So you have to go behind them. That's what it's trying to tell you. Okay? And then we see, and even so, God will bring with him those who have fallen asleep in Jesus. Right? See? So there you go. See? So these are the ones that's brought up. So that's the resurrection. See? And then those who are alive remain will be caught up together with him in the clouds. See, I kind of got this out of sequence here. Yeah, kind of, because that's just in the clouds, because those are also called clouds. I don't know how they got out of sequence there. They got out of sequence. So, and, okay, so that's what it says. They'll be worked in the clouds. Those are also called clouds, of course, there's the clouds also, right? Okay, some kind of sequence there. Okay, and some of that specific one, the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, right? See, they'll be brought up, and in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. No, I back up. And we who are alive remain shall be caught up together in the clouds. Okay, there we go. So remember, here it was clouds, but now the alive hadn't brought up yet. Now the alive, right, here is brought up where it was the clouds, right, to meet the Lord in the air, right, and shall already remain. So that's the new Nation of Islam, the New Jerusalem. Okay, let's move on. And this is very concerning because everybody gets this messed up. Elijah Muhammad talked about the Son of Man. He always talked about this top verse here. For as lightning comes from the east, even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man. Now, unless you could say Elijah Muhammad broke the seals, and he was just, that was his opinion. Those were his opinions, like the Hadith. What was revealed to Muhammad was in the Quran, where his opinions are in Hadith. You can't rely on the Hadith, that's his opinions, right? See? So those, when Elijah Muhammad talking about the angel, he's talking about opinions, because unless you can tell me he broke the seals, okay? Or you can tell me fraud broke the seals, if you do, to show the proof. So you got two verses now in the Injil or Gospels. You have several books like Mark, Matthew, Luke, and they all talk about the same things in different ways. So you need to compare the two to make sure you understand exactly what they're talking about. Because both of them talking about two different things, same thing in two different ways. One says the lightning comes from the east, even to the west. And one says lightning from one end of heaven to the other part. Right? So that's two different things. So when you understand the Injil, you understand what he's talking about here. Because here we go. Lightning. The Orient represents lightning. And we see a light here, that's called mid-heaven, because they're between the earth and heavens. So heaven starts where you see lightning, where you see cloud at, the black cloud. Lightning starts, heaven starts on that level, right? Because below that is the earth and mid-heaven, and above and the top. So that means, he's lightning, he says, go for as lightning shine light out of one part of heaven to the other part of heaven. See, so that's what it says. So he's from this part until the top part. See, so that's what they mean when they say from east lightning strike east to west, because that's light. That's symbolic for lightning. Thunder is above it. Okay, and there you have it. See, so that's the coming, right? Remember, so he's coming to clouds and all. So that's what it's talking about right there. See? Okay. Let me see something here. Okay, we're going to point out some more things as we go along. And there shall see the Son of Man come in cloud with great power and glory. Then for his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the other part of the earth, from the uttermost part of the earth to the other part, utmost part of the earth, utmost part of heaven. See here? See, utmost part of it, that means the bottom. See, here, that's at the bottom right here. That's the top is the utmost part, top part of heaven. That's the utmost part, right? From the four winds, the utmost part, earth is part of heaven. Okay, now, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light. Here, the sun is dark because it's on the black, that's what it's talking about. And the moon shall not get light because it's covered with blood, right? Okay, but one other thing. Now, it says, every reader says, the four winds, he commanded the four winds, he commanded the four winds not to blow until he has sealed his elect. Now, who is sealed? The one on the top and the one on the bottom. So this is the period of time they're talking about right here. So the four winds are held back. It says, hold them back until I've sealed, right? That's the one, if you look at it, the seal, only ones were sealed was the top tribe and the bottom tribe. Okay? There it is. So, and that's from what most part of, I didn't put that part in there, but the other part of the earth, the most part of heaven. That's right there. That's also the sealing that takes place. Okay? Because the four winds are held back. See? And then, right, comes the war. That's where it happens in the sixth seal, with a great wind and made them, right, it preempted their plan because it hit them before they had a chance to do what they was planning on doing. Because their plan was to get rid of us even before the war. See, their plan was to get rid of us before the war. But Farad went to action first. Their plan was to their plan right now is to get rid of us. That's what all the stuff going to see right now. They're setting you up to make you a villain. So everybody will be saying, we got to get rid of these niggas. That's what the plan, that's what's going on right now. See, but their plan was to get rid of us before. But the war takes place first, which is about to happen. Okay? So, because it says, did I miss something here? Okay, no. Because the powers of the heavens will be shaken. That's the powers of heaven. That means the Middle East is shaken. Who had power? Who had control? America and Britain as far as Israel. They had the control. Right? So now it's broken. The powers of heaven are shaken. It's shaken because they had that war. They kicked out now. See? So now, right, the powers are shaken. They kicked out. See, at this point, when they kicked out, this is the point where they move into action. See, they had planned to do it before the war, but now the plan of war, now the war has actually happened, so they're even more paranoid now. They was paranoid before the war. How much paranoid they be after when it was taking place? They kicked out, and now they're at war with Europe. They're at war with the Orient, China, and North Korea, and so forth. So now they make their move to get rid of us. It's even they're moving faster now. They're more focused. See, they got to get rid of us because now this war is 10,000 times more dangerous than Japan ever was. Nuclear weapons, all these powers surging against America. America's totally paranoid. Think about it. They're going to have China, North Korea. That's 200 million man army. They also have India behind them. They're going to be at war with Russia. And you think they're not going to be paranoid? They ain't never done anything like this. It's dear the Lord, right? So, and their great fear is that we will help their enemies. So they're going to make sure that don't happen. So get rid of these niggas. That's what that's all about. And that's when the four winds blow. See? That's when the four winds blow. Because Suleiman, I got that, move up too fast, you move up that fast, right? But Suleiman at that point, right, he calls Farad the hit with the four winds. Because they surround, they're moving in for the kill. Hit them, slow them down. See? Slow them down. We're going to talk a little more about that in another slide. He'll slow it down. So four winds blow. See? Farad hits them hard, right? So that slow them down because they're closing in for the kill. And that's when all black folks wake up then. The demons and the saints. They all come together because they see they're surrounded. It's clear now they get ready to kill them. But the demons, they still love Daddy. Oh man, please. Daddy, you don't want to kill us. We with you. We American, man. We wave the flag, man. We love you. Because they want to still stay here. That's Farrakhan, all those people, they still want to stay. They're still trying to convince that they're okay. Man, y'all, your daddy, man, come on. Just like, back in the 60s. No, we want to be integrated. We don't want to separate. We want to be with you. They were still talking that stuff then. See? Because watch the demon-possessed man. See? They know I was surrounded by demons. And they said, I don't want to leave the country. They said, I want to go back to my devil daddies, my swine daddies. That's what happens. Okay. And then they will see the Son of Man come and see him in the clouds. That's what they're talking about, the clouds. Power and great glory. That's at the point, right? When the resurrection takes place. That's what it's talking about. And that's when, right? He shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather his elect from the four winds, from the utmost part of the earth, the utmost part of heaven, right? Remember, there was all the way at the bottom, and the ones on top. So he gathered them. Now they're all together now. Remember the one alive, the ship, they was all the way on the bottom. There was the utmost part of the earth. See? And now they brought them together. And you got the dead in Christ or the elect, they all brought together now. Says he will gather them together, simple angel, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds. See? I mean, from the four winds, in other words, the four winds is blown, and they've gathered from the utmost part of the earth, that everybody gathered together. See? Okay, let's move to the next one. Son of Man shall send forth angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend. See, we still talking about the same thing, talking about the day of the Lord. They've given all kinds of information about him, from different perspectives, that offend in them and do iniquity, shall cast them into the furnace of fire. They shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. What's that about? Okay, he said, answer them. He said, he's talking about the tares and the wheat, right? Remember? Now, they were sown together. That was doing slavery. He was raping black women, and that was their seed. So that's the tares, that's the demons. It says the tares are the children of the wicked one. They're their children, not ours. The enemy sold them is the devil. So he said they're the children of the devil. I would tell you, the enemy sold is the devil. And they're their children, they're demons, they're their children. See? And the heart is the end of the world, and the rupers are the angels. So that's where it's at the end, right? They all gather together, and right? So we'll see that. See, they all gather together, the tares. It says they seed of the devil. The tares are gathered, and the tares are gathered and burned in the fire. Shall be in the world, and Son of Man shall send forth angels. They shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and then will do iniquity. In other words, he's gonna gather them all together and burn them in the fire. So y'all got this idea that he's a flower child or something? He's gonna burn your ass up if you're a scriptee. Or you're a demon? Well, scripture says it got special punishment for them. If you're a demon, they'll burn your ass up. Don't want you. And it should be, so they cast in the furnace now. It should be wailing and gnashing of teeth. They can be crying and then grinding their teeth down and everything else. See? See, they in power now. Now they're doing their thing. You know? So now they're going to be wailing, Farrakhan, all his boys, right? And then shall the righteous shine. See, now they clean up demons. The righteous up top there. See? And if you understand about the ears, you understand because they're also ears. Ears was the top two. Ears are the top two of each wing. So that's what we see. We see the top two of each one of those nations. That's what you see here. That's all those are ears. The top two wings of every nation represents the ears. That's what you got there. The white ones, they're top of the European countries. The trumpets here, they're top of the African countries, right? The thunder, the top of the Asian countries. Right there, brothers and sisters. Behold, I will send a messenger. He shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. He the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, shall come, saith the Lord. But who may abide there is coming? Who shall stand in his appearance? And this is what it's talking about now. It's sending Elijah to prepare before me. Now remember I said there's three prophets. The African nation also represents the prophets. There's Elijah, Esau, the one that revealed it in 2,000 years ago. He didn't break the seals, he's revealed the book. And Muhammad. Those are three positive prophets, right? So Elijah's right there, he's the one next for Rod, right? Okay. So it's, and Lord shall suddenly, that's the key word, suddenly come. Why he suddenly come? Now he's coming. At what point he's come? This point of the war is just, remember this, now America's already defeated. See, that's the day of the Lord. See, who will abide the day of his coming? Who shall stand the appearing? See, that means it's a terrible day. Now that's when he comes to Elijah's temple. Temple, not mosque, not church, not synagogue. That's when he appears. Why? He didn't have to. He's already there. He's about to be delivered. See up top there, you see, that's Farad. He's about to take them out of here. But he comes and even though they reject him, they curse him, they do all this stuff, call him names, talk about his family, looking for him, trying to kill him and all that kind of stuff, they're still Elijah's. Remember, Levi was raised by Elijah. That's Elijah's children. Elijah's a Levite, right? See? And it tells you, it says, he shall purify sons of Levi. It just says sons of Israel, sons of Eve, Levi, right? So he will come and do this. Even though all the stuff they did, and they was hating on him, lying on him and everything else. See, he could have just left with the rest, right? But he comes back to save their ass. He comes back to them to save their ass. See, he won't do it for the demons. The demons get a reprieve, a short reprieve because of that. Because if he hadn't came back, they was going to be wiped out. See, so he came back to save their ass. That gives everybody a chance to read, because this is the point, right? Just before the four winds blow. See? Because he's the one who has to call the four winds down. He has to tell Fry, okay, hit them. Because they're closing in, right? He's in the middle of this. He didn't have to be. He could have been out way off and gone. He comes back, right, to save their ass. See? To save their ass. See? What I said, yeah, 120,000, and on the left hand from the right hand, right? See? Couldn't see Elijah Muhammad's teaching for Farrakhan's teaching, because most of the people in there right now never knew Elijah Muhammad. See? So that's one of the reasons why they get a reprieve. So that's he comes back. That's when he shows up. So that's what it says. He will suddenly come, because he had to come quick, because it's just they're being surrounded. The devils are coming. They're coming with the tanks and everything. They're moving in. They ain't sitting there moving in. So that's when he comes to put himself at risk at that point, right? And then he calls for I to hit the seven winds, the four winds. Bam, slows them down. Not enough. All black folks come together. See, he says because he comes as refined, right? He comes to clean up. It says full soul. So he comes to clean it, out. Get rid of the demons. That's when clean them out. So who can abide his appearing? See, because it ain't no BS. See, who can stand? See, none of them can stand. See, so he cleans them out. See, so now NOI is cleaned up, and demons are cast out. See, it's like refines fire, full so he shall set as a refined and purified silver. Silver, right, represents the black one, because black can also, silver can also be, be black, right? So they represent silver. There's silver and the gold, right? So he says, purify the sons of Levi. That's the gold there. I mean, that's the silver right there. See, purge them as gold and silver. He's going to purge them as gold and silver. See? And John said, he would purify them with water, baptize with water, but says, Suleiman would purify them with fire. I'm not going to go into that right here. See? So he's cleaned them up. Okay, brothers and sisters. I think that's enough. We can go a lot more, but I think that gets it. I think that gets it. Okay, brothers and sisters, I think that'll be it. I think that'll be it. Brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. There's a lot we can talk about, but I don't want to bring this up. I don't want to go into a lot of detail today. I don't want to make it long because I have a lot of information I want to get to you. So, and this is something I've been working on. It was not really ready yet. I got a lot of stuff that's in the burner, that's on the queue. It's not quite ready yet, but the time moves so fast, it's only me. So when I think something is functional, in other words, it's informational, I just go ahead and present it, unless, because if I wait the time to get it perfectly right, it may be, the time has already passed. And I got so much information I need to get to you. And if you're paying attention, you see I'm giving you more and more each day. Make it clearer and clearer and clearer. Okay. So you look around, you should be able to see some of these things. Okay, brothers and sisters. Remember, you're the apple of God's eyes. He's here, right, to enforce that contract. Suleiman's here, the high priest, to get you to prepare the thorough knowledge of yourself. Again, you have to ask yourself that question. Let me rephrase this. There was a question about in Malachi. By Elijah. Well, let me just take it straight to it. Doing theology of time. Doing theology of time. And we can go dig up the tapes if you need to. I was present. I was with the feet of Elijah Muhammad. I was on security. And he did Q&As. It's very important. All this is important. Very important. He did Q&As. Something Farrakhan would never do because shut him down in a second. He did Q&As. Some brother asked him, says, FY, dear Holy Apostle, I'd be so glad when that day comes. I'd be so glad when that day comes. See? And Elijah Muhammad stopped him cold and says, no, you don't, brother. He says, do not pray for that day. Do not pray for it. Because you do not know what you're up against. So he didn't tell him. And he said, you don't know because he never told him. And then he went further and said that he would ask Farad what he could tell us. He said Farad didn't give him permission to tell us. So what is that saying? And this was just before he left, about a year before he left. So if he didn't tell us before that, if he didn't tell us after that, then we never know. So if he told us what was going to happen, he would tell us after that. Now, Message of the Black Man, Fall of America, I'll say all those books are already printed. I had part of printing some of those books because I was working at the press at the time. I was a night foreman. So none of that is in those books. Well, he talks in general, but he says specifically, do not pray for that day because you do not know what you're up against. That means you have no idea what that day is going to be like. You don't know what you're up against. And he didn't tell him then, unless you're going to say he told him afterwards, then We don't know because he never told us. At least we'll know from him. Think about that. So if that's the case, brothers and sisters, just think about that. Put two and two together. Can you add 2 plus 2 is 4? It's not 22. If these, and I'm going to dig that up. Theology of time. And if you find it, right, it's near the end of the presentation, end of the conversation, right? Because that's when you did Q&A afterwards. So we have to go look all through the whole thing. But you should. I mean, what he said was beautiful. So if he didn't tell us, and if Rod wouldn't allow him to tell us, that means you don't know. I mean, it's not the message of black man, because we did. Then why would he say, I got to ask for Rod? Just say, look at the message of black man. It's not the message of black man. It's not how they live. It's not for America. I say it's right. It's not in those books. It's not in the lessons. So that means you don't know. So these clowns right tell you they know. They don't know. But let's say they got some private information from Elijah, which he said in the message. It also said in theology time, he never gave any private information to any of his ministers. So they don't know. So you mean here's a time of unprecedented trouble, the worst time ever on our planet. Nothing like it. Because the day of the Lord said, be nothing like it. And when it comes, brother, I keep trying, I've been trying, not trying to scare anybody, but it's going to be like, you can't imagine. And that's why it's unprecedented trouble. Say, make children gray-headed. Nothing in World War II made children even close to gray-headed. Holocaust, none of that made children even close to it. Said, men walking around drunk, while having a drink. It's going to be the day of the Lord. I'm trying to prepare you for it. That's why you need to study, and you need to, because that'll give you the light to see, because it's going to be intense darkness. And you need to make those slots, going to give you a firm heart. You understand? The handle the fear. Because it says, men's hearts will be failing for fear of those things that come about. So what we're saying is you mean to tell me that the worst time in history, after he signed all these books and everything, and he said I'm messing all that stuff, that we're going to be without the light to tell us what's happening, the guy is through it? Does that make any sense to you? That's what these clowns would have you believe. Oh man. But yet still, they didn't see COVID-19 coming. They didn't see it coming at all. They ran into COVID-19 at 2,020 miles per hour. That was like a brick wall. Farrakhan ran into it, and all those sycophants in the trunk of his car, man, they got crushed right along with him. They have no idea. And we at dusk now. You know, dusk at dawn. You know, dusk is the end of the day. We're at dusk, and their lights don't hold up when there's a dusk. So how do you think they'll hold up when it gets midnight? See, the blind leading the blind. And that's why many of you are going to be saying, many of my people lost for lack of knowledge. Many of you are just out of shock is going to kill you. Some of you, I tell you, some of you are going to go down out of something like that, says men's hearts failing for fear of things about to come. Because the only thing, he says, the only light that you would have, and even Christ says, only be a light of tears brightness, piercing brightness, is the angel and soul light. It's the only light you're going to have. And that's a light bright enough to get through this. Because those who study the angel realize they see stuff they never thought they'd see. They see a world that, it was like that, what's that movie of Dusk to Dawn? Where they was in the bar and everything, all of a sudden, man, the lights went out and all of a sudden everybody turns into demons and stuff. They was there all the time, but they didn't realize it. And that's what happened. Now you start open your eyes to the angel, you start, man, then you start seeing clearly. It's like, oh man, what the hell? It's all around you all the time. All these monsters and enemies and all the plans, they was around all the time. You just didn't see it. And so you understand the situation our people in. They might play NBA, all that kind of stuff. No, all the setup to keep you blind up, because the objective is to get rid, not just America's the objective, all the nations on the planet objective is to get rid of you. The Sunnis are the most villain, most vicious about it. See? They're trying to make you a non-people. I'm going to touch it on in a minute, right? Because the picture they're presenting is that Ishmael is the inheritor. That means he got the land, the crime, everything, the language, whole 9 yards, the possessions, 9/10 of the law. So he's the real inheritor, right? Okay, that's what he's saying. Then he's saying, well, false Israel, that's Isaac. See? Now Isaac is, according to the Bible, he's the true inheritor. See? So that's the picture they got. See? And they making our case. They're saying, we really own all this. We got to take it because we Isaac, we the truth. Because we was born from Sarah. You was born from his maid. See? Then you got the Christians, the Europeans. They're saying, well, Jesus came and he kicked them all out because they messed up, right? So we the new inheritors. We're the spiritual seed of Abraham. And then back there in the outhouse, right, running around the outhouse in the corral or whatever, they got Ham. See, that's us. We was born to be slaves. God cursed us, and we were born to be slaves to everybody forever. That's the picture they present to the world. That's the you may have paid attention. Even these Negro preachers are saying that kind of crap. That's the picture. Because in other words, we should be grateful if America treats us nice because we want to be slaves. So it treats us nice. We should be grateful because we only deserve that because we slaves. We immoral. We sick people. See, if God cursed us, we ain't worthy of anything. See, that's the whole point. That's the picture. See, that's the picture they present to the world. And to make sure that picture sinks in, right? They got people like Mark Lawrence and Chris, all these clowns, right? They make all these movies that make us look just like that picture say. Ignorant fools, stupid clowns, not worthy of anything, can't do a damn thing, can't put nothing together. Women shaking their ass like jelly all over the place. And that's all we went to is sex and drugs. See? Because you used to use blackface to do it. So you should use blackface to do it. But they say, well, we got to do that. See, that's all this desire. So we just have make babies, bastard babies. So they look black. They ain't us. They really us because that's our seed. But they look like them. And we use them. And those are the ones they use. Those demons out there. They're making you look like a fool. Because that's what whole blackface was about. When they put blackface on, they didn't make you look like you was intelligent or anything. No, it made you look like a clown. But then they said when that blackface wasn't working, same thing Amos and Andy. Amos and Andy started with two white people, right? On a television TV show. I mean, on the radio. But when it was television, they couldn't play that because they said, well, we're going to put blackface on us? See? So they had to get some demons to play it when they got the TV. But the original Amos and Andy, those are white folks. Making us look stupid on the radio. And so when these clowns tell you, Chris Rock and whatever their names are, Wesley Snipes, all these clowns, right? They tough, they ain't tough, they're niggers. Right, they're demons, make us look bad all over the world. That's the whole picture. So now the picture's complete. Picture's complete. See? And so when Elijah Muhammad came along, he threw the whole thing on. I said, no, we the truth. That means they don't got nothing. See, because if we're non-people. And so the Sunnis want you to become a Sunni. They come, be a Sunni. Because if you're a Sunni, then you buy into their program. Because if you're a Sunni, you're nothing. You're just somebody that believes in Sunniism. You still have no right to anything because they're not going to accept you as Isaac. You tell them you're Isaac, they're going to tell you, get the hell out of here. You're just somebody accepted religion. Because in Sunniism, Ishmael is the rightful heir. That means you acknowledge that you ain't nobody. You're just somebody that wants to accept Islam. That's how stupid this shit is. This stuff is really... But anyway, once you angel opens your eyes up, then you start seeing stuff. And that's what I'm telling you, brothers and sisters. The angel, the only light that's going to get you through this, because you have no idea what was going on until you start hearing the angel. Those you start paying attention, you see your eyes become open and you see stuff that you never thought you saw before. And then you can go back in the angel and prove it. This ain't nothing conjecture. This ain't nothing about matrix, belief matrix. It's about facts. And you can double check it with history. And you also going to check it with scripture. And you also check with everything the prophets and the messengers said once you understand what they were saying. So that's the thing, brothers and sisters. So back to the point, if Elijah Muhammad says he wouldn't tell you, Farad wouldn't tell you, that means you don't know. That means someone would have to come and tell you, otherwise we'd be in darkness in the worst part of our history. And Allah said, well, I ain't going to tell them nothing. I ain't going to show them any damn thing. In the worst part of our history. If that's what you're saying. So he was saying the greatest last where it says, Suleiman, right? So he was greater than all the prophets. He said he's greater than the prophet because he's high priest. See, because the prophets, they had the books. They bought the books. They didn't understand themselves because the books on their veil. He had to come explain what they explained it to them. He explained the Quran to Muhammad. They don't understand the Quran. Okay, brothers and sisters, Farah is your God. Suleiman is your high priest. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.